The GOAT, the greatest of all time. There can only be one.
Oh, what? Now get there's loads of them.
This is going to be interesting. Welcome to the Dirt Shed Show with me, Martyn Ashton, and Anna Chips.
Hello.
I like calling you Chips. We've got Cipullo in the building, and we're going to be talking about the greats of women's mountain biking because it's International Women's Day, Anna. Did you know?
No, I didn't know.
You knew. Now, we talked about this earlier on, and it didn't go well because Anna did not agree at all with my thesis, on the greats.
Because you have an actual goat, don't you?
I do, and that could be a problem. That could be a problem. And you could be onto something, and you've got some actual goats to talk to, right?
Yeah. Later in the show, we will talk to one of them.
Opinion from an actual goat, right? But, okay, here's my problem, I guess, where I'm not necessarily qualified to talk about the greats of women's mountain biking because I can only see it through one lens, right? I'm old,
very retro,
and I compare every female racer, and I hate myself for saying it, but it's true, to Anne-Caroline Chausson.
And you're saying she's the GOAT, and that's it, no question.
I lived through the time, and she was truly great, right? Yeah. And I compare everyone to it, but you think there's other greats?
Well, she's good, don't get me wrong. She's got the big number because she's done, 9 world championships in her day?
She's done a lot.
But, I mean, Rachel Atherton, if Anne-Caroline Chausson, who was racing back in the early 90s, came back and did downhill World Cups of now, do you really think she'd be winning? Would she be beating Rachel Atherton?
Yeah, but, right... That's the thing, right? Because there's goats, isn't there? There's goats. Yeah. There's some riders who could literally say they're the greatest who's ever existed, right? And then there's the greats, like people who are great right now and could be even greater.
Yeah,
and then some youngsters.
Both
crazy good.
Actually, because Gracie Hemstreet obviously just completed Hardline in Tasmania a couple of weeks ago. You know, there's only a few men in the world that are doing that. Only a few riders in the world that are doing that. She's done it. Louise Ferguson's done it. You know, would Anne-Caroline Chausson be able to complete a Hardline course?
I'm not so sure now.
Gracie is greater than Anne-Caroline?
I mean, those, like Gracie and Louise Ferguson getting down Hardline.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Jones rode down Hardline. I mean, he's a pro rider on Red Bull, right? He only just made it. He was going 2 miles an hour. Sorry, Matt, it was slow. Yeah. And he only just did it.
I was scared.
So you can't underestimate how good those riders were for getting down there, all of them, including those 2 women. But I think also, I mean, I get stuck on the GOAT bit. I love thinking about who's the GOAT in men's and women's, and I always go down the Anne-Caroline, but I'd really love to know who do you think could justifiably, and we'll get on to some of the greats in a minute, but who do you think could be one of the arguments for the GOATs? You've said Rachel Atherton. Give me another one. I mean, I've got some on the list.
Because I see what you're saying, because she's got less tally points than Anne-Caroline Chausson. She's got a lot of numbers, a lot of golds to her name.
I think we can get caught up on the numbers. I don't think it's necessarily about the numbers, but numbers do count.
How about versatility then? Because currently, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, in 1 year, she had cross-country title, road and cyclocross to her name in 1 year, simultaneously world champion.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years back, she just took gravel, short track and cross-country marathon title simultaneously again in 1 year. Yeah. I mean, she has got a ridiculous amount of gold medals.
Numbers-wise, she's got to be up there. But then I wouldn't... this is tricky, right? Because as much as I mean, to have all of those titles in a calendar year is absolutely nuts.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's hard to deny those numbers, right? But for some reason... Pauline Ferrand-Prévot doesn't grab my heart as a mountain bike rider.
Is it because she's cross-country?
No, because
Clearly she's a roadie and she's doing well because she's a very fit roadie.
It might be because I love Yolanda Neff.
Okay.
Now, to me, she could be one of the greats.
She could
But is she one of the GOATs? I don't know.
Maybe not.
I mean, on my list, I've got some incredible names. And I tell you where I got really stuck. Here's a problem. You've got to solve this one. You've got to put her in the greats or the goods. Isabeau Courdurier. I mean,
she's one of the greatest enduro riders of our time, but does that make her the greatest mountain biker of our time? Probably not. I mean, bear in mind, Tracy Moseley has won enduro overall 3 times, and she's got a world championship downhill to her name. Surely that trumps Isabeau.
You know who's also won multiple kind of enduro World Series?
Is it you?
No, and Caroline Chausson.
Did she?
Well, it was unofficially not really EWS at the time, but she was the person who Tracey had to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, Tracy's battled. Tracey has been, and like, let's let the cat out of the bag. Tracey's coming up on the show.
She is.
Anna spoke to her earlier on.
Well, you have to tune in later to see that interview.
Yeah, after the news. It's a really tricky one because there's also some exciting riders coming up who could possibly be GOATs. I mean, people like Evie Richards.
Yeah, she's gained ground,
talent.
Didn't she?
Yeah, Hattie Harnden.
Yeah, I know. She
downhill, cross country, and EWS.
Yeah, I mean, she entered the National Downhill Championships in the UK for fun, and I think she was on her enduro bike and she won it. She's going
legit Road Worlds last year, had her first experience. Who knows where that's going to take her? I mean, there's so many amazing riders. Can I tell you someone else who I think is incredible? Who I think is absolutely incredible is Caroline Buchanan.
Oh yes, good shout.
Front flipping. Now I'll tell you why, right? Because I've had the experience of learning front flips.
Yeah.
And it is genuinely. I'm presuming you haven't. Sorry, I'm presuming none of you got. No one else in the room.
I'll tell you what. You don't know this, but I used to compete trampolining. Well, and so I've done. So I know it's very disorienting.
You know that bit where in a back flip, the world comes round to meet you.
You just look at it.
Yeah,
and it's
but
there.
In a front flip, you deny the world ahead. You're like, no, I don't want to see. Right, and it is terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
And she's. I mean, when I was trying front flips. They were tiny.
Were they?
She's doing them over 30-foot booters. And I just can't get my head around the bravery for anyone to send front flips.
All right.
So to be breaking that ground, I mean, she hasn't really won. She's won some stuff, but like Crankworks, Jazz, does that count? But
if we're talking Crankworks, is that even a thing?
Do you think it would count if I'd won one?
It's still a good accolade. Do you think we can solve this, or do we think we should get the viewers to try and solve it in the comments?
I think when we spoke earlier on, I had it solved in my head.
You did.
But then as we discussed, I thought, this is a deep, deep hole. I mean, someone else you mentioned earlier on, which I think's also breaking up, Vera Sandler.
Vera,
I mean, monster athlete now.
Yeah. And
she got Sam Pilgrim's helmet.
Yeah. Oh dear. Oh well. And also, Jess blew it because she was she pushed herself into the hard line in 2022. And if it weren't for her forcing her way in and saying, well, someone's got to have a go, someone's got to do it first, we wouldn't have had the other women this year. So she's pretty legit.
Yeah. And I also like thinking that it almost happens every day she's riding, but when she makes a mistake, they all go, Jess blew it.
Yeah, they might do.
Terrible joke. Right, there you go. Let us know in the comments down below. Maybe start typing now because Tracy Moseley's going to give her opinion in a mo. But start telling us who is the greatest or who are the greats we haven't mentioned. Because I know, because there's even some on my list, we haven't mentioned them all. The greatest and greats of female mountain biking. Let us know in the comments down below. It's time for the news.
What's up, everyone? Starting things off this week with another pair of shoes from Crank Brothers. They've revamped their lace lineup as well. The Mallet clipless shoe and the Stamp flat shoe have a pocket to stash the laces in, a new outsole, plenty of grip and added toe protection, whereas the upper sees a padded tongue, new materials and some breathability upgrades. Sticking with new products, D.O.A.T components are very in touch with pop culture as they drop their sand collection at the same time as June 2. The Sandy Tan colorway is available on a range of handlebars, saddles and grips, as well as the Death Trap pedals and a couple of their direct mount stems. The team at Rimpact are diversifying from their tyre inserts and have engineered the Stand, a neat tool-free bike stand that flat packs itself for travel and storage. The stand uses a spindle which inserts into the hollow gap in most cranksets, lifting the rear of the bike off of the floor to make it much easier to do car park jobs without taking a full bike stand along with you. After 13 years on Monster, Sam Pilgrim and the energy drink brand have gone their separate ways. Rocky Mountain have released a new Instinct, major change on that being the penalty box down tube storage, and also have news of their new race team, Rocky Mountain Gravity Racing, with Remy Gauvin, Levi Batista, Luca Focard, Alice Lazou, Justine Henry and Emmett Hancock. Continental Nukeproof have secured a new frame sponsor and will go forward into 2024 as Continental GT. Danny Hart joins Veronica Widman, Chris Cumming, and Harry Malloy. It was Valparaiso Serra Abajo at the weekend. 12 riders finished the course and it was tight at the top, with Lucas Borba just 0.2 seconds ahead of Felipe Aguto to claim the win, with Adrian Laurent finishing in third. Race favourite Thomas Slavic suffered a mechanical, and Johannes Fischbach had a huge crash taken off course by the medical team, wishing him the best of recovery. All right, that's my time for this week. It's over to Todd for the sickest thing.
Right, this week's sickest thing has to be this new video from DMR called Sleigh Days. It's got X4 Cross and downhill World Cup racer Katie Kurd riding with the up-and-coming shredders Carenza Scott and Emmy Kosh. This video was filmed over a 3-day road trip in the UK at Forester Dean, Windhill Bike Park and Pontypool. All rad spots. Unrelated fact, but Kate and I were actually like riding friends back in the day. Like we had this little crew when we first started riding. And what's sick about, oh, and she taught me no-handers, so shout out to Kate for that. And what's sick about it is she went off, became pro, like world championships and World Cup winnings and stuff. And then she's like still riding, having fun, teaching people stuff, shredding bikes all these years later. I love the vibes in this video. It got me so hyped to go ride and I hope it does you too. Right, that's my sickest thing this week. Time to go back to the shed.
Oh, thanks guys for that. Now we're going to head over to a little interview I had with Tracy Moseley, who I think is one of the greats. I'm not allowed to use GO.A.T because apparently only one of those exists, but here she is.
She could be it.
Tracy Moseley, thank you for joining me. We're going to talk about legendary female riders, and for me, I've always looked up to you. You know, you're like one of the most decorated riders in both enduro, downhill. You've won the downhill world championships, overall wins, enduro world champion 3 times now, is it?
Yeah.
From the start. Was there anyone that was inspiring you, either when you were younger or during your race time?
Yeah, I never really kind of had this, idolising people in any part of my life, really. I think I've just cracked on and done stuff. But
Yeah.
I think when I first started riding, I know the female rider, Anne-Caroline Chausson, French girl, who was a few years older than me, but she was just a step above everybody else on terms of a bike. She had so much skill. She jumped stuff that we were all scared of. And I quite like the fact as well, she didn't really make a song or dance about it. She kind of quietly went about just annihilating everyone and winning races by almost minutes sometimes. It was frightening. So I loved her work ethic and her silent just way she went about just, beating everyone. It was cool.
Do you think the downhill racing has changed much from then to now? I know you're not racing in the last decade or so, but what do you think about the state of women's downhill racing at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's definitely had quite an interesting kind of transition, because there was probably more girls racing way back then, 20 plus years ago. But then it's definitely become much more of a high profile sport now, I would say. It's become more professional. It's become, the tracks have changed immensely. Technology's changed and allowed you to ride the technical terrain, massive jumps, the speeds increased tenfold. So I think there's definitely a bigger kind of a challenge there, and the girls are now having to be fitter, stronger, more professional, I think, to be able to get on that circuit. So it's also cool to see that there's girls now making careers out of it, whereas there was, I guess, in the early days, there was a few in the US, but there was kind of been that middle period where I think it was really hard. And now you're starting to see that kind of equality, I think, much more across the sport, which is really cool for the future, I think, of the sport.
Yeah, and so good to start seeing women coming into hardline and doing stuff in Utah, maybe coming into Rampage in the near future. That would be great.
No, it's really inspiring.
Yeah, so there's obviously a bit of a time gap, shall we say, between men and women, and I'd just like to ask your opinion on that. Do you think there's a set reason for that? Is it physicality? Is it a mental thing? Do you have an opinion on that gap?
I think it's always been hard to, everyone always asks that question, and you think, why is that? And I think there's a few things probably. Certainly there's a strength element. Naturally women are not as strong as men, whether you like it or not. Sadly, that's the way we're born and we're made up. So there's definitely certainly a power to kind of how you can handle a bike is totally different than a girl riding to a guy. I also think there's a mentality there that in general we don't have that same completely fearless nature. I think there's, again, inherently we're designed to be that nurture one to kind of to bring up offspring, and that's, again, it's inbuilt. You can't change that. And there's something there that makes us think, actually, maybe we won't take that risk, or maybe we'll think twice about it, whereas guys just be like, oh, he did it, I'll do it. So I think there's sometimes, I could say maybe more intelligence, maybe, more thought sometimes.
We couldn't say that. Absolutely, we're not saying that.
There's definitely some differences. And then I also think as well, just that the history of the sport in terms of how many guys were racing compared to how many girls. There's that, how many times do you see groups of girls out in the street pushing each other and egging each other on to do stuff? We do see that now, like you said about the rampage. That's so cool to see, and that's just come around from a bunch of girls saying, hey, we can do this. And they've inspired each other, and their level has increased. It's been so cool to watch.
Yeah.
But I think we've got 30, 40 years of that not happening. You know, it not being the done thing for girls to be going out, hanging out the street, doing skids and wheelies at the end after school. Like, it's just not the thing that girls generally do. So I think we're always battling
up to do,
always battling against that. And I think we're seeing so much more, and we're seeing some cool little girl shredders, which is ace. And I think it will come. It's just in time. Speaking
of current shredders, you're coaching the likes of Hattie Harnden and Evie Richards, first British rider, regardless of gender, to win an XCO World Championship. Do you think there's a difference in coaching and training for women to men?
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, there's just been more guys doing it, more people, in that position to offer that advice. And I think that's the thing, certainly with Evie and Hattie, it's been much more of a natural kind of evolution, I guess. They both were part of our local cycling club. They grew up racing little local races on the farm. And I'd say I've been more of a mentor, really, than a coach. I've never, actually done their training as such. I've been just there as a real kind of guider, I would say, in the background. Certainly done technical skills with them both on that respect. So that aspect, then, yes, definitely. And I think, again, we're seeing more female coaches. We're seeing more people doing skills training. There's more opportunities for women to do girls-only weekends. There's so much more going on. I think that's just going to help grow more and more women getting to the top of the sport and being comfortable in that environment, rather than it necessarily being the 1 out of the 10 at the weekend is a girl. It's now very much more a 50-50, which is only going to help things grow.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Dirt Shed. And if you know some legendary female riders, or if you want to praise some of those old retro legends, then let us know down in the comments below.
Thank you very much. You were lucky to get a bit of time with Tracy there. Very cool. She
was in the area.
Very cool, and definitely one of the GOATs for sure. One of the GOATs.
Oh, I got ya.
Got me. Right, just want to mention this comment from last week's show from Mark Peterson, who said it was great to see Hans Ray in the Dirt Shed, and he hopes his tour is an overwhelming success. Me too. Yeah, Hans is going on tour in the UK throughout March, so if you're in the UK, I strongly suggest you head over to Speakers from the Edge and get yourself a ticket, because it'll be amazing. And time spent with that man is always good, because he's a legend of the sport. And also, another big thanks, right? I've got to do a big thanks this week, Anna. I've been trying to raise funds for Stephen Murray, who's a BMX icon, who's got a similar injury to me. He's paralysed. But I want to get him back out on a mountain bike trail because I've seen a buggy that would work, and it's operated with your chin. It's nuts, right? And I want to get him out on this bike, but it's 25 grand. But I want to thank PE's Products, right? Because the other day they did a deal on their site, 20% off of all of their products. They raised a huge amount of cash for the GoFundMe page, injected £3,000 onto the limit. So now we're just under 15k. So I'm here to promote a little bit. Can we get to that 20k mark and start getting there and getting Stephen Murray on a bike? So if you've got a chance, head down to the link in the description down below. There's a link there to the GoFundMe page. Or if you're out on social media, head over to my page on Instagram, and on my profile there's a link there. And help us get Stephen Murray back out on a bike. I'll be so excited when I see that.
You'd have to do a video together.
Yeah, definitely. Right, okay, let's do some hacks and bodges.
Oh, it's hacks and bodges time. Are you the one that has to sing? Do you sing if Rich isn't about? Do we have to sing?
Hacks and bodges! Hacks and bodges! You didn't want me to sing, did you?
No.
As you said it, you thought he's going to sing.
I did regret immediately what I was about to say.
Yeah, I should never sing. That's a rule. I should never sing.
Anyway, Charlie from Dorset has sent in one of his hacks and bodges. He was rebuilding his wheel and decided to put a valve on the side to put his spoke key tightening
It's simple
things.
It's simple, but it works.
Is it?
You know, we all. I mean, the worst thing to happen when you're using a wheel jig is to lose your spoke key. So he solved that problem. He solved that problem.
Right.
Is it good enough to win a GMBN jersey? Let's wait and see. This one I like, Anna.
Yeah, go on then.
Because I'm a particular fan of this method of bike stand.
Yeah.
Sebastian has sent this in. He's done a little bit of welding. Very nice, actually. Looks like something Blake would build, actually. But you basically put the sticky out bit through the bottom bracket.
Yeah.
The sticky out bit's probably got a technical term.
It's like the Scorpion stand, he says, which is a branded version, but that's like 80 quid. So he's made out a couple of quid of scrap metal. That's pretty good, isn't it?
How long do you reckon it took him to make that, though? And
maybe 80 quid's worth of labour time.
And how much is his time worth? Did he really save money? I don't know. It looks good though. Well done, Sebastian. Next one we've got to look at this week. Oh, I love this from Paul. Take us through this one, Anna.
So his bottom bracket, I think, was spinning inside the frame. So he's basically dug out an old stem expansion bolt, threaded it through, and then he's managed to get so it stays in place, so you can get the leverage to open it up.
Because everyone who's ever
Brilliant.
used a bottom bracket removal tool has had that bit where that nut slips off of the bottom bracket and you punch the floor and take all the skin off your knuckles. So that's actually a good idea, Paul. But Anna, it's International Women's Day, so you must be the chooser of. Oh, we're not giving away a cup. We're giving away a race top.
Oh, we give a race.
Give a race top to your favourite hack and bodge this week. Is it Paul, Sebastian, or Charlie?
The man with a stand here. Who's this? Sebastian. Man with a stand in Norway with his welding rig.
Sebastian,
gun.
you have won yourself
pen.
Welding pen. Technical people here. I don't know what you call it. Welding jig?
Blower.
I don't know. Let us know in the comments. It's a race top, Sebastian, on its way to you. Well done. If you've got a hack or a bodge, then send it in to us, and the GMBN loader, that is also linked in the description down below. Right next to the GoFundMe page for Stephen Murray. Did I mention that?
No. What was that?
Yeah.
Where is it? Where can they find this?
Oh, that's in the link down there.
Oh, okay.
That's in the link down there. Get involved in the show. Send us your hack or your bodge, and you could be on the show next week. Hey, quick shop shout out talking about race tops. Anna, we've got an offer on the old GMBN shop, haven't we?
Yeah, it's 20% off selected bundles. So you could buy this with a set of pants or trousers, depending on what country you live in. Maybe the book and a bottle, whatever. Go and head over to our shop and have a look at what you like.
I love a bundle. Caption contest time. What do you think of this photo? And it's pretty good, and it's a good photo.
I mean, that is potentially one of the greatest photo bombs ever, wheeling past.
And we've got a caption saying exactly that, actually. The spanner is saying having a wheelie good timing is critical for photo bombs. Get it?
He's absolutely
Could that win the stunt mug?
It could do it. It's just wait a second, because we've got more. I've got DJ Matt 101 saying, I really must get going.
God, these are terrible. I really must go. Okay, likely biking is it is the duty of every mountain biker to ruin any roadies' photos. They're roadies. And we've also.
He's right, but is he funny? Because that's just fact. It is our duty to ruin their day. Is it not?
It's not a joke. It's what we're supposed to be doing. Jason True says, "Don't mind me. I'm trying to impersonate Blake Sampson." I don't really get that one.
Oh yeah. I mean, Blake can wheelie. But,
and he would photobomb roadies.
He probably would.
Yeah, okay. I think because it's just sound advice, we should give the stunt mug to likely biking. It is the duty of every mountain biker to ruin any roado's photos or just their day.
Yeah.
Stunt mug on its way. Congratulations. Now, if you would like to win a stunt mug like this one, then please send us your caption for this photo. Nice! Give us your photo for that, and you could be winning a stunt mug on next week's show. Don't be horrible roadies. Bike vault time.
My favourite.
Yeah, love it. Anna, kick us off. What do you think of this first run from Callan?
Ooh, it's shiny. It's blue. It's nice as a Merida Bigtail in Sherwood Pines. It's looking good.
Is it? Nice, it's nice.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, and our logo matches the colours, so that looks good.
Right, well done, Callum. Thanks for sending it in. Next up, we've got Jesse's Polygon in Alamos in Sonora, Mexico.
Yes.
Look at that view.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, but we
Wow.
can't critique the review. It's all about the bike.
It's
What
another
we say.
nice
I
bike.
barely see the bike. It is nice.
It's a nice bike. Oh, Emma's going to be hard to please today. You can barely see it.
Barely
Right,
see it.
next up, author is Alex. Look at this. Marine in Washington, D.C. Like
I mean,
the
it's
colourway
nice.
on the bike. I
Yeah,
like the
it's
colour on the bike.
nice. It's got, tan
Anna,
walls.
tan
like it.
walls? Fan of tan walls? Not
I am a fan of tan walls, but it has to be on the right bike.
I always thought you were weird.
The right.
I,
It has to be the right bike.
yeah.
Yeah,
is
that one's all right.
And is that the right bike?
Yeah, but it's nice.
Oh, it's only, what if we don't get a super nice? We end the
it's
show on a
tough, innit?
total
It's
bum
really-
note. Let's just hope we get through it. Here we
Tough.
go. Have we found a super nice? I think.
Oh, potentially.
Randall's
Old school.
Gary Fisher Big Sir and Gary Fisher Katai. This is the Katai.
Katai.
Obviously missed a picture of the Big Sir, but the
Oh,
Katai
look,
is
are they
here.
the old school Shimano like pedals there? The
Oh.
SPD like BMX ones? Nice.
I mean,
They're not, are they?
is it a super nice though?
I don't know. What do you think? Can I do like a half?
I don't know, because I want to give it a super nice just because it's
I
old.
just want to do the horn. Can I do the horn? There you go.
Super nice now. You've
It was
done
like
it.
the tension was building up, and
You've
I
done
needed
it now.
to do the horn.
And here's the Big Sir.
Right. Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah, another
okay.
one.
Randall gets 2 bikes in
Wow,
the bike
Randall.
vault. That doesn't
Greedy.
happen very often.
Nah, sorry.
And whoever put this bike vault together must be some kind of idiot. But we're not giving him a super nice twice,
No,
so that's
of course
nice
not.
too. Oh, this is a tricky one.
Trey
this
in
is
New
Trey's.
Zealand.
This is a Cube Stereo.
I've never seen it in that colourway before. I love the grips. They're like almost perfectly with that green. Yeah, it's
Those
pretty
bars.
good.
I mean, it's got it all going on. I think that might be a home paint job. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Possibly. I didn't think cubes could look that.
It's
sort
in
of
Wellington, New Zealand, which in itself is super nice, but the bike is nice.
normal. Yeah, it's nice. Author spam in Germany.
Spam, yeah.
Hello. Raw aluminium Commensal Meta 29. Yeah, it's got to be super nice.
I know. Wait. I've got one question, right? Are those wheels? I can't tell silver or white.
They are silver.
Are they? Then it's a super nice.
All right.
It's a super nice. All right. Next up, we have got Virgil's Soom Sula.
Beg pardon?
Don't know that brand actually. Soom. It's quite a cool little steel bike, I guess.
It looks massive. It looks like it should be a fat bike, but they've downgraded the wheels or something.
It
Is that what's
does look
happened?
big. It
Is
does
that
look
what's
very big.
happened
Looks like it's got nice geo for the old downs and the ups.
Yeah, and the old snow as well.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
for sure.
We've got a propane. We like them a lot at the moment.
Are we contractually obliged to say it's super nice?
No, but we are all enjoying the propane.
Yeah, we
aren't
are. Yeah, I've
a
just
lot.
got my Eugene.
You can see it on Blake's Instagram. He's going nuts about
I know,
it. He's
I know,
loving
I
it. He's
know,
loving it.
I know.
This is Christian's propane Tai.
That is nice.
Well, you're riding
I've
it
not
at the
seen
moment.
it.
What do you think?
I haven't ridden it yet.
No.
It's been built up and I haven't ridden it yet.
Well, you can only say nice for now
I
then.
can only say nice. Yeah.
Right then, so Connor is here next with a 2020 Vita Summit, and that is actually quite a handsome looking bike.
Okay.
But I'd say it's not much more than nice, as if that isn't a lot.
Mini's custom purpled the Zeb Forks logo potentially there. That was pretty nice, yeah. But
It's
yeah,
nice.
yeah, it's nice.
It's nice. I mean,
All right, tough call here.
it's a
Tough
hard
crowd.
way to end, but hey, that's life. You've got to get used to it. It ends on a nice. Have you got a super nice bike in your garage? Me and Anna both have. But
Yeah,
have
of
you?
course.
That is the question. We don't want to go on about our great bikes
Well, we
because
do,
we've got
but-
loads of them. But what have you got in your garage? And is it nice? Is it great? Send it into the Bike Vault and we will arbitrarily judge it next week, and apparently that'll make you feel good. Let's hope that works. Thanks for watching the show this week. Anna, thank you for joining
Oh, thank you
me.
for having me.
And celebrating International Women's Day with some truly great mountain bikers. See you next week.